Janam sukadham maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam kalavashadiha sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam.
Namaskaram and welcome back to Nepal, Sadh Guru. You've been coming to Nepal for many, many years. First, I would like to ask you, what is it that draws you to Nepal all the time, and how are we blessed to have you here every year?
What can I do? You're a stepping stone for Kailash. And see, initially, many places that you go to are different, it's a means for something else. After some time you get involved and, well, we have developed a very strong bond with the mountains and the people of Nepal. So, it keeps bringing me back. Right now there is no going to Kailash, but we're still coming back. People advising me all over, Sadh Guru, these treks are enough. 1 whole month it's taking in your time, the kind of schedules you have, you cannot take a month off in the mountains. But I'm still coming.
We're truly blessed and fortunate that you're still coming, and we're getting the energy that you bring here to Nepal. Kathmandu, we know it as a valley of the gods. We have gods' temples and shrines in every corner, a stone's throw away. And now we are bringing the Linga Bhairavi to Nepal, to Kathmandu. Could you just shed some lights on why Linga Bhairavi is being consecrated here, and what are the effects that you would see in Nepal and the Nepali people from this?
Well, Nepal as a region, there have been certain significant things which have happened here. Probably the only other place is some parts of southern India and a few parts of northern India where certain things have been done, where the entire geography was consecrated to become a sacred space. Entire geography, I'm not talking about the present day, the nation of Nepal, that boundaries are drawn much later. But earlier, they made certain regions, certain pieces of geography like a living body, it's like a human body with all the necessary energetic aspects of it. In India, we have many spaces like that, some are in south, it's reasonably well kept, but in northern India, most of them were razed to ground during invasions. So, very few are well kept really. So once again we are seeing the need to create infrastructure which takes people inward has become very necessary. Well, we have schools, we have colleges, we have hospitals, we have all kinds of things which people need. I'm not saying those are not necessary. But the developed nations on the planet are a living proof that even if you have more toilets than people, for example, in certain nations, and you spend, more money on healthcare than many nations put together, in spite of that, people are neither healthy nor happy. This has happened because there are two ways to conduct human life. One is we want well-being, comfort and convenience around us. That we can do to some extent, not to the extent of destroying the planet, but to some extent we must do because human beings don't live just on survival basis, they want some aesthetics, they want some beauty, they want things to happen. That's perfectly fine. What is human aspiration? It may be finding expression in different people in so many different ways, but essentially, they are looking for pleasantness, if possible, profoundness. When we talk about pleasantness, everybody wants their body to be pleasant. Hello? And from now on, I'll ask some questions. If you say yes, I'll bless you. If you say no, I'll bless you. If you say nothing, I'll bless you. Okay? Body being pleasant essentially means health. When body is pleasant, we say, we are healthful. You want? Yes. I didn't hear, only one person is saying.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you want health? Hello, say it, huh? No, this is the whole problem. This is the whole problem with humanity. When they get angry, ugly things will come out. What really matters, you won't say. How will it happen? How will it happen? Just to be healthy is such a simple thing, but that is not happening to a large percentage of human beings on the planet simply because when it's health, they'll say. If they get angry, boom, they'll go. All right? You want health? Yes. That's better, this girl wants health. So if your body becomes pleasant, it's called health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. This guy wants everything. What about others? Hello? Pleasure? Yes. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace.
Yes.
If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy.
Yes.
If your emotions become pleasant, we call this love.
Yes.
If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If the very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness.
Yes.
If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy.
Yes.
If the surroundings become pleasant, we call this success.
Yes.
Only to make our surroundings pleasant, we need the cooperation of people and other forces around us. To make this body, mind, emotion and energy pleasant, it's 100% your business.
Yes.
Hello? How many people on the planet are really taking care of this business by themselves? Oh, it's one big mess. Today, World Health Organization is predicting a mental illness pandemic, and then the next one is suicide pandemic. Already it's happening in some countries, that in Japan, more people committed suicide in 2020 than the number of people who died of coronavirus. So we don't really need virus, we'll anyway kill ourselves. Why would such a thing happen? Such a thing is happening because in the given societies, there is nothing to tell an individual human being how to keep myself. Everything else is there, we build industries, we build armies, we do all kinds of things. How to keep this human being well? Nothing. Your schools are not teaching anything about it, society is not teaching anything about it, everything is about conquering the world. So I'm saying, to keep this human being pleasant is very vital. If pleasantness happens, then you would want some profoundness to happen to this. Pleasantness of experience and profoundness of one's life is very vital for a human being. Outside comfort and convenience also important, but how much energy do you put into that, how much resource you put into that, how much you put into this is something that you must decide as an individual person. Your government is not going to decide, your culture is not going to decide, cultures used to decide, but now, culture is not of any one place, everybody is on the internet, nobody knows which culture you are. You may be living in Nepal, you may be eating Nepali food, but you are maybe all American. You may never know, because what is your mental culture, who knows, because your communication is with all sorts of people everywhere. So, you must decide how much energy, how much time, because you are whatever you may think of yourself. You're essentially a limited amount of time and energy. Hello?
Yes.
Both time and energy are very limited. It'll just go away very soon. If you're very joyful, on a given day? Were you ever very joyful on a particular day?
Yes.
On that day, 24 hours went off like a moment, isn't it?
Yes.
Another day you were little unhappy, depressed, frustrated. 24 hours felt like 1,000 years. So what I'm telling you is, only miserable people have a long life. If you're joyful, if you're blissed out, it just gets over before you know what hit you, all right? It'll be just done. You'll be attending your own funeral. Yes, it'll be so soon, because for what possibilities a human being carries, even if you live to be 100, it is nothing. Only if you don't explore those possibilities, then it looks like too long. So, in pursuit of these explorations, many devices have been created in these cultures. These cultures invested more in inner well-being and less in outer well-being. Well, today you may compare yourself to Western societies and feel we have lost out. No, we have not lost out. This is something that strikes me so starkly. I travel for months in Europe, America, well, everything is well organized, everybody is living way better than what people would live in India or here. When I land in India, I always because I'm looking at people. Ultimately, buildings, nonsense, everything was built for people's well-being, isn't it? Hello? Yes. When I get down in India, I always see more smiles around them. Even though they're living in very basic conditions, maybe they're wearing tatters, they're not well-nourished, but you will see more smiles all around India than you would see in Western nations, unfortunately. What this means is, what we did at a tremendous cost to ourselves and to every other life on this planet is all going waste, because as life becomes more and more comfortable, people seem to be getting more and more miserable. Simply, everything is going waste. See, we are literally burning the planet. You can make bonfire of the planet if you're really having a party, all right? You're miserable, you have no business to burn the planet. So it's time we invest in the inner well-being of the human being, because you believe me now, I'm telling you, in another 25 years, this will become the most important thing. How to maintain human consciousness, how to be well within yourself will become the most important theme on the planet. Right now, I must tell you, see, now I'm just walking around in Nepal, not even in India. In India it's big. But in Nepal, I see 12, 13-year-old boys and girls running up to me, Sadh Guru, Sadh Guru. I said, "Hey, you fools, how do you know me, huh?" They said, "We watch your videos." When I was 12, 13, nobody could make me watch any goddamn spiritual video. No way, it was simply not possible. But today all these kids are watching by themselves. Never before was this possible. In 2020, our video reach was 2.4 billion people. When did it ever happen? Many great beings have come, but when they spoke, hardly 10 people would hear. Today, because of technology, and above all because of an intrinsic need, because the time where people were selling tickets to heaven and running religions on the planet is over. It's just a question of 25, 30 years. How many of you want to go to heaven? Nobody wants to go, see? I'm telling you, even in very hardcore religious areas, these days if I ask this question, how many of you want to go to heaven? Only one or two hands looking like this, they go like very shy. Just 50 years ago, if you were asked this question, 100% hands would go up. So heavens are collapsing. When heavens collapse, because it was only in your mind, all right? Heavens are collapsing. When heavens collapse, it becomes very important that you make this into your heaven. Otherwise, you will be in hell all the time. So, Bhairavi is a powerful tool in this direction to bring inner and external well-being, so that if external well-being happens with ease, you will have more time to focus on the inner well-being. When I say inner well-being, everything that you're doing, whether it's your education or your career or your marriage or your business or your children or anything that you're doing, is essentially towards your well-being, isn't it so? But in the process of doing that, people are just killing themselves. They are dying to live, literally. Hello? Most people are dying to live. You don't have to die to live. If you live, you will die one day. I guarantee you that. Don't be afraid that it may not happen. Life needs your full support. Death is super efficient, it'll anyway happen. Hello? You fear it won't happen? No, no such fear, I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you, it'll happen. We'll bless you with a long life, but it will happen. Life may not happen. You may be here, but still, all that can happen in life for a human being may not happen if you don't put your energies and focus on that. That is the important thing, isn't it? So this is why temple is not about you going to heaven. Temple is about you using that as a device to rise to a higher possibility, to open up a deeper dimension of yourself to experience. This is the only culture, this is the only culture which is conscious that we created the gods. Everywhere else they have been told gods created you. This is the only culture where is no the god. Everything. If you see a tree, you worship that, if you see a rock, you worship that, you see a cow, you worship that, you see a man, you worship that, you see a woman, you worship that. It doesn't matter what, because the important thing is to understand there is nothing here, not a single atom here, which is functioning without the source of creation throbbing in it, right? If you recognize that, where is the divine, where is it not? There is no such thing. But to create atmospheres, to create devices and tools where it becomes accessible is important. That's what the entire culture is about. Unfortunately, everything is slowly turning into a monument, and slowly young people start thinking these are all museums. Temples are becoming museums. No, they must be living spaces where powerful energies can be invested in such a way it will bring profoundness to your life. It's very important. If there is no profoundness to your life, then that stupid question which they have been making it out as if it's a very intelligent and the most intelligent thing to ask is to be or not to be. You must be a miserable mess to ask that question, hello? When you're really blissed out, will you ask to be or not to be? No. Only if life has become very burdensome, then you ask to be or not to be, isn't it? There is a way that every moment of your life, you can be exuberant, absolutely intoxicated, not with the local substances, absolutely intoxicated at the same time, so profoundly still within yourself. This is a possibility for every human being. You don't have to go and sit in some Himalayan cave to do this. In your home, in your office, you can do this, doing normal life, because what you do internally has nothing to do what kind of arrangements in life you have. Whether you are a sannyasi or you're in the family or you're this way or that way, that is not the point, that is only an arrangement, isn't it? Hello? That is only an arrangement. What kind of arrangements do individuals make? As it is suitable for them, it's an individual choice. But what you need to do within you is of a different nature altogether. That is not related to how you have arranged your life.
We're very blessed, I think, that Linga Bhairavi is going to be consecrated in Kathmandu in 2023. And I think the team which is working on it, we are very blessed that we had a donor who actually gave the property, her own house in which she was living, to establish the temple. And the team wants this to be done by Nepalis for Nepalis.
Yes, sir, I'm out, sir. Yeah. I'll consecrate and I'll go.
And we are very confident that we will be able to do this going forward. One of the things that you talk about is the relation between ecology and economy. Sometimes in today's day and age, we believe to be economically prosperous, you must do things against the environment and the ecology and so on and so forth. And I've heard you say many times, no, this is not, this is suicide, that these two go hand in hand. Could you just give us a few words on that for all of us on a more macro sense, while on the micro, the Linga Bhairavi will definitely help us center ourselves and lead more conscious, fulfilling lives, but on the macro sense, the ecology and economy.
This whole debate of ecology versus economy, or ecology or economy, that also they're saying, this is the dumbest debate I have heard, because ecology is the basis of our life. Our existence is because of ecology. Economy organizes our life, our survival process, our well-being, our comforts, our conveniences are managed by the economy that we run. If anybody talks in terms of whether should we do ecology or economy, obviously you're empty in your head or you're prejudiced so badly that you can't see anything straight. Only if you're alive arrangements, isn't it? Hello? Have you ever been to a funeral? At least you've been to Pashupatinath or somewhere, you've seen those men who are dead. We can't kill the women, so I'm saying men. That guy is like this. You go and tell him, I've got $1 billion for you. Not interested. You tell him, I have a mountain of gold for you. Not interested. You go tell him, I have the most beautiful woman for you. Not interested. Yes or no? Have you seen those guys? What happened to him? For all these things, all his life he was running around. Now suddenly he's not interested in anything. This is all it is. Once life is taken out of you, all the goddamn things that you arrange mean nothing, all right? Actually, there's only one thing you have, life. Life is all you possess. Rest is all in your head, just imagination. Because if you did possess other things, it should matter, isn't it? Nothing matters because the only and only thing that you have is life. How you keep this life, how you hold this life, what you make out of this is the most important thing. What kind of clothes you wear, what kind of home you live in, what kind of… these things are only important socially. What other people will say about your home. See, suppose you were here 10,000 years ago, you had a better cave than your neighbor. You are doing great, isn't it? Yes or no? So, these are social things which keep changing from time to time. See, you made so much effort to have good clothes and everything. See, your children are all walking around with torn pants. Huh? What do you do? Of course, they're paying for it, but the tear, it needs to be in a particular way, okay? But I'm saying, whatever you think is very valuable today may mean nothing tomorrow morning. But one thing that's valuable, whether you're an ant or a human being, life is always valuable and that's the only thing that's valuable for you, isn't it? Yes. If what you call as life is not in its arrangements, right now when people say my life, you have to search what are they talking about. Are they talking about their home? Are they talking about their family, their relationships, their office, their business, their wealth, their car, their dog? We don't know what they're talking about. You have to search. When I say life, I'm talking about this one which is throbbing here. This is the only thing. If this one thing is not there, all the other things mean nothing, absolutely nothing. So this throbbing life, it can either throb here in a feeble way, without experiencing anything very intense or profound. Simply eating, sleeping, reproducing and dying one day, like every other creature on the planet. This much intelligence and consciousness has been invested in you, not just to eat, sleep, reproduce and die. You anyway have to do that because you're also one kind of an animal. Hello? Little more evolved, but still an animal. So everything that an animal does, you also do. They are born, you are born, they grow up, you eat, they eat, they reproduce, you reproduce, they die, you die. But everything you're doing with lot of fuss, they're doing it with much more ease. Hello? But so much intelligence was invested in you so that you can do these things, same things, much more consciously and in a much more, elevated way. But unfortunately, human beings are doing everything worse than the animals. Hello? Am I saying something wrong? Human beings are doing everything worse. See, to earn a living, what fuss? Every goddamn animal earns its own living, all right? No problem. But human beings make a big fuss about it. Then relationships, marriage, relationship, whatever, to find a mate. Every animal find their mate somehow, one way or the other. That also one big fuss. To bear one child, oh my God, what fuss! They are doing it in hundreds, thousands, some of them in millions, without any fuss. Hello? Even death also, they do it simply. When it comes, they go. That also big fuss. So you were not given intelligence, this level of intelligence, no other creature has on this planet, was given to you so that everything is raised to another level. The same activity can be raised to a completely different level of function, not to make a fuss about everything. But right now, intelligence seems to be the biggest problem on the planet, human intelligence. They call it stress, they call it anxiety, they call it this. Some 72 varieties of madness it seems exists in the world, according to the psychiatrists. Essentially, you have turned your own intelligence against yourself, that's all that's happened to you. Hello?
Yes.
If we give you something sharp, if you keep on poking yourself and think there is a problem, what to do? If we take away half your brains, most of you or all of you will be peaceful. This is all you're asking for, please understand. Whether you overeat or you drink alcohol or you drug yourself or do so many other crazy things, this is all you're trying to do, somehow put your brain to rest. Yes or no? Hello? That's all you're trying to do. So essentially, this whole evolution which took millions of years to get you to this level of intelligence and consciousness, all gone waste. Millions of years of research and development work on you. What a waste. Today human beings are suffering their own intelligence. Don't think there is something called as stress, anxiety, depression, this, that. You just don't know how to handle your own intelligence. If you did not have this intelligence, if you had the brains of an earthworm, would you be going through depression? No. And you would also be eco-friendly. We need not have to talk about save soil. If all of you had the brains of an earthworm, we didn't have to talk about you being an earth buddy, save the soil nonsense. Something so simple has become such a big thing. Yes. So people ask me, Sadh Guru, how did you come to know all this? Are you a soil scientist? I am not a soil scientist, I am not an activist, I am not an environmentalist, I am not anyist. I am like just any other worm on the planet. If you ask a worm whether the soil is good or in bad condition, does a worm know? Hello? PhD? Hello, is it PhD in soil sciences? No, worm knows because it hits its life. So I have just been a worm crawling on this planet for 6.5 decades, a long time, huh? So I know what's happening. Oh, then how come we do not know? Because you never lived in this world. You are living in your own world. Hello? For you, the creation is not good enough, you have created your own little world in your head and you're living in that, that's why all the problems. I live in this world. So everything that happens to this world happens to my body. That's how every creature knows, only human beings do not know. See, when the tsunami happened in India, in southern India, we were the first ones. We had 23 medical vans, we were the first ones to arrive at the tsunami-affected region. Within about 16 to 18 hours, our vans were there, our volunteers were there in thousands doing this work. And I went there myself. Because these thousands of volunteers who come, you need to marshal them into some creative activity, otherwise it'll go all over the place. Because more people going to a disaster place is a bigger disaster unless they're able to do something worthwhile. Otherwise you have to feed them, you have to find a place for them to sleep, they will get sick, all these problems are there. So I went there myself to see. What I saw was, tsunami has happened where the waters have come in almost nearly 2 kilometers inland and gone back. By the time we go there, it's gone back. Houses are demolished, so many things have happened, except the animals which were tied in homes. They died. None of the animals died, no fish dead. Normally, even in a normal day on the coast, there will be… You know what's the ocean you've seen? I'm asking because you're a landlocked country. So even on a regular day, there will be some dead fish. But on the tsunami day, 2 kilometers inland, no dead fish. That was the first thing I was expecting. There should have been thousands of fish or millions of fish, not a single fish. So everybody knew it's coming. The fish know, all the other small creatures know, the crabs know, the donkeys know, the cows know, everybody knows, except the human beings. Brilliant, huh? Hello? Because we are living in our own world, not living in this world. Otherwise you think, is it true that you have the most advanced neurological system of all the damn creatures on this planet? Yes. If that is so, we must know these things first, ahead of donkeys at least. But the donkeys know, not a single donkey died, everybody went inside. In places where it was mountainous, all the elephants, everybody moved up because they all knew it's coming. Only we did not know. Fantastic, isn't it? Same thing with soil. Now, 5 months ago, nobody knew. You know, I'm saying the world meets in conventions talking about climate change, talking about global warming, not a mention about soil. Nobody seems to be… everybody seems to be innocent of these things. Suddenly in 5 months, everybody is talking about soil, policies are being made by nations and groups of nations and unions. Why is this? 5 months ago this problem was not there. I've been screaming about it for last 30 years. I've spoken to common people, I've spoken to bureaucrats, I've spoken to agriculture ministries across the world, some heads of state. Everybody says, Sadh Guru, this is really very important, this is fantastic, this is really great what you're pointing out. And that day they will use that as a pillow to go to sleep. Yes, I'm telling you, this is what it is. So last 2.5 years when I started this whole campaign, without involving Isha Foundation, I went about doing this work by myself because everybody has a sense of what is practical and what is not practical. It's very difficult to work with human beings who thinks what is practical, what is not practical. Whatever they cannot do, they always think is not practical, all right? So when I went about meeting various agricultural ministries, scientists all over the world, what I found was everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the general direction of the solution. Then I was wondering, everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the solution, why nothing is being done? Then I realized they've been waiting for an idiot to come and bell the cat, so here I am. This is not some rocket science, it's always been there, but… So, whatever I've spoken to our own people also plenty, but They think that Guru is saying something vague and far away, soil, what's the problem? Then I knew I had to, because I don't hold any authority, position of authority, I'm not a minister, I'm not a prime minister, I'm not this or that. I have no office to hold. So the only thing I have is people's love and goodwill. I thought, let me play with that. If I walk from London to Kaveri, that's suicide. If I cycle, also at this stage in my life, it is suicide. Motorcycle could be. Once they saw me riding through all kinds of things, these millions of people woke up and now they made it reach over 4 billion people, okay? They could have done this long time ago, they could have spared me the motorcycle ride, I could have ridden where I wanted. 30,000 kilometers in 100 days, doing 697 events in 100 days. So when people thought Sadhguru is trying to kill himself, then they all woke up.
Thank you so much. 4 billion people, and as a son of Nepal, I'm so proud that our government has also joined yesterday with the MOU and the letters of exchange of letters from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Environment. So Nepal is also part of the Save Soil movement now, and we're all so proud and so happy to be doing that. To end, Sadhguru, today is your auspicious birthday, and I just take the liberty from everyone here and from all Nepalese. We have the finance minister, former deputy prime ministers, we have dignitaries from cross-section of society here. So I was thinking, what can we give you for your birthday? You have blessed us by granting us the establishment, the consecration of the Linga Bhairavi in Nepal. So for your birthday, I would like, on the behalf of the Nepali people, to commit to you.
I can ask what I want.
You can ask. You can ask what you want, but from our commitment is on the date that has been set, we ourselves, the people of Nepal, will ensure that we build this temple, we bring the Linga Bhairavi as a tool to the people of Nepal, as your gift for now and forever. That is our commitment on your birthday, that is the present that we would like to give you. Thank you so much, thank you so much. If you like this episode of iCrafters, please do subscribe. Hit that bell button so that you know whenever I post anything, and do like the video. Until next time, this is it from me to you on iCrafters.